Man, they might have an older truck, older car, muscle car, it's a manual steering, and you know, it's cool, you've got it, and it's a weekend driver, but man, it just sucks that, you try and park, or you go to a show, you go to the movies, and you're trying backing in, and you got this horrible manual steering. I'm not one for creature comforts, but I'm gonna tell you right now, power steering, that is very good, because you can get a smaller steering wheel, tighter, everything about it. It just helps everything about the car or truck. And in this case, we're gonna put power steering on a 1962 Dodge D100, and not the way you think we're doing it. There's no hydraulics on this thing, and it's got a Prius heart, as much as I hate to say that. But I love to say the fact that a Prius died so I could have power steering. Yeah, I like it. I like it that way. A Prius died so my 62 D100 could have power steering. Check it out. This one wasn't easy, but man, is it worth it. So, kind of made a little boo-boo and had some music playing in the background, so I can't use any audio on this video. But I'm going to tell you, the biggest thing about this is getting this steering column broke down once I bought it. Picked it up at the junkyard for like 120 bucks. Everything was on it. Kind of hate having the airbag there, but whatever. It's not a big deal. Got that stuff off of it. Took a few minutes to get all this broke down. At the end, I've got a few bolts that can possibly reuse, maybe some bracketry and things like that, but for the most part, it's all scrap. It's just getting thrown away. So yeah, you can see it's a bit of a struggle. I mean, it's pretty intuitive once you get into it, but a couple items that didn't really want to come unplugged, so they kind of gave me a little bit of a fit, but hey, we got it all apart. Most important thing is columns ready to go at the end of all this, and hey, if I tore something up, it really didn't matter as long as I had the box and basic shaft at the end of it. So
it's like a family tree, part of you and part of me. And if we should separate, go your own way, I won't wait.
this comes into play, and I put my new column on, which I'll probably have to take a brand new column and cut it down so that I get exactly the height, the length I need. This is maybe where I'll do some welding or some fab. But I do have the original shaft that came out of this, and I think I may be able to pull this bar out, I don't know, or at least trim this down and then put the two together and kind of make this all one piece. So this should look like a good factory put together piece. Paint this. I'll build a cover to go around this in the outside the firewall with maybe some kind of a seal right here. That'll keep this dry. I don't want to see this under the hood of a classic truck, so I want to cover this all up, and it may be with a rubber boot. It may be with It may be with a sheet metal guard. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that. So kind of putting this thing up here. I'm not sure how the hell I'm gonna mount it, but it'll definitely take some doing. May take some fabrication because I may have to go down in this direction. Actually cut the floor and recess this thing into the floor is what I'm kind of thinking right now. Recess it in the floor, maybe give it a little hump over it. That's still going to be enough that my clutch can go all the way down. Yeah, this is going to be a challenge because there is just not enough room right there to do this. So I really need to get the gearbox mounted, and I can go ahead and do that whenever. At least put it up there. See how far down I can push this. Because right now, it ain't looking good. I had to do a little bit of modification to the floorboards. Kind of see what I've got below there. So I've got a piece of steel that this is mounted to. I'm gonna weld to the floor. So once I get that welded in place, I need to make some type of a cover for that thing. So what I've done so far, and didn't realize I wasn't filming, is I've taken and I've cut the end off of this. And I've created this. So the idea now is put these two together in some type of fashion like so. So whenever I clamp this together and I put it on my steering column over here, it's as close as I can possibly get it. Which right now we'll probably put it around that height. So I thought I should be able to trim that around. Then what I'll do is I'll get a bolt just big enough to fit that. Tighten it all together. So put it here in the vise. Try and cut out as much as I can with what I have there. Then we'll get the die grinder out and see if I can't maybe get that to fit down in it. Once I can get this where it fits down and drops in there the way I want it to, just like so, I'll be able to put a weld around that thing. So got that all knocked out. That should now set right into there. Trying to take a little more off of that corner so that I can make sure so when it goes in, I want to make sure this is screwed in, at least when I'm fitting everything in place. Just like so. So that gives me that. That's going to be real close against it, and I'm okay with that. I'll use the open end. But again, give me a nice weld all the way around this half. And maybe at least this portion right here, I get a little weld in that area. But before I weld all this, I want to make sure that when I put this thing together, so it's tightened up, that just, it pretty much centers itself into that. Went ahead and cut my fittings down here. So hopefully this is going to work out. So I got to finish putting that together, put the bolt in it, and I'll be able to put the rag joint on the other. And that brings me to a decent spot on this. So hopefully when I put it together, it'll be minimal sticking through the floor. I know I'm definitely going to have to do some trimming, but let me get this thing here together and see what it all looks like. Not quite enough. I don't think. Nope. I got to take that, go forward just a little bit with it, so my bolt fits through it. Makes me feel good because it definitely means it will not come loose. So. But you can see now, I'm right up against that, welded on half on both sides. So, but that thing is pretty damn spot on, considering there's my hole on that. I don't know, it might be the right thing to do, go put that on there, just kind of see where it lands. I'm not sitting here saying, wow, this truck's just falling together, or hell, it would be on the road already, right? But things like this, oopsie. So yeah, that goes wherever I need. So if I put that together like that, and it goes all the way against it. I can't complain at all about how this thing's falling together. I don't know. I'm thinking that the looks of it, yeah, I don't know. That's that far down. That was no problem. And I'm wondering if I take So, as the steering column is right now, again, all together, that covers it just nicely. I'll probably put a bit of silicone or something there just to kind of let it dry on it. And what I'm going to need to do now is create mounting bracket. Coming off of this, I think I'll put a piece of sheet metal just a little bit wider than this thing, straight. Then I'll roll it around and make sure, kind of see where I'm at. About right here is where I'll need an angle back. Spend a little bit of time trying to do some floor pan changes. I've got this kind of measured out, so I've got a hole in my floor pan that's about as wide as what you see here marked out. All right, what I want to do is then create a place to mount this steering straight to the floorboard. So by doing that, what I've done is I've created this. I'm going to cut a relief cut here and here. That'll give me a chance to kind of curve this in as I go. I think once I get all this done, shaped up, a little bit of sculpting, a little bit of welding, this should work out pretty well. So, and it'll take a little bit of hammering and a little bit of shaping as I go along. So kind of a quick once over. I just went ahead and broke these over. Again, I don't want the break that you would see in a sheet metal brake. I want these things to be slightly rolled, and then kind of go from there. Still have to do the bottom side, but I want to see how this all fits down inside of here. So when I shove it down in there, that's doable into that aspect. Of course, I'll have to mark exactly where the center of this is. Once I mark that center, I'll be able to kind of play around a little more. All right, let me cut that out a little more just to see where that puts us. So I'm gonna cut these wings off here and here. And again, I'm gonna weld all this stuff back together. So if I take a little too much, I'll fabricate a small piece, weld it in, grind it all loose, and make it look like it's one piece. Because I don't have all the tools that I truly need to fabricate this stuff. So what I'm doing, I think I've got that pretty well close to center. Went ahead and drilled at least a small pilot hole, cut off my smaller sections, and now I'm going to put it back down in there, see if I can get it leveled up. If I can, then I should be able to get everything close. And once I get it close, I'll be able to cut my angle and everything that I want for my steering assist. Once I do that, I can put it in, mark the sections that need to kind of be extended out, and start to shape this a little bit so that it fits what I'm doing. And again, I'll have to add a few pieces as I weld and make this a solid floor pan that looks similar to something that existed. So, a few more adjustments. Let's see if this thing is any closer. Alright, so looking center wise, I can come down a little more. You know what? That's not bad, but absolutely needs to drop to there, or I kind of feel good about. All right, so went ahead and pre-drilled a hole, or a couple holes on each one of these. So we'll put them in here, attaching them down, and do my drilling. All right, so I've got a couple pieces bent here. They'll sit right down in here. Do that on both sides again. Like I said, I'll take and tack a few spots, and then I'll grab me a little wrench or something. I'll pull that over and tack a few more spots. Might even give it a slight curve like that. Yeah, probably do it just like so. So it'll follow perfect. Right in the worst possible spot. pulling this power steering unit out. Go ahead and unbolt it. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the steering unit off of it, and I'm gonna weld everything down the backside, and then I'm gonna take and trim all this excess off of it and start grinding this thing. Add a little bit of gusset work in here and make it look like it's all one solid piece. It'll work right there. Once I get that done, this thing will be ready to mount in the truck, and hopefully we'll start doing some wiring and get this thing running. All right, so there I am. That's all good, everything, nothing's touching. Get my controller, should be able to set right up in here without any problem. All right, I'll make another little cover plate right there. Good to go. So let me see now what it's going to take. All right, now in order to get, there's one of them already on it. The other one fell out. I have to find the nuts. I think that's them right there. So let me grab that and see if I can find the nut size. Looking down on this, everything looks to be there. So, watch me fight this bolt, I'm sure. And I bet you money it'll be a nasty mess. Got the harness hooked up, but anyway, Prius controller, I believe it's a 2009. This wire, number one, will go to your 12-volt positive. This is your ground. They both need to be a good solid 10 gauge wire at least. And then this wire will go to my ignition. That's going to be my 12 volts. So I can jump that 12 volts, and that makes this basically work with the torque sensor that's on the EPAS unit that's in the truck right now. I want to go ahead and get the wiring hooked to it, and I'm going to put a jumper on this one where I can turn it on and off, probably put my starter relay to it. That way I can just double check the system. While I'm in the car, I can actually be turn it off mid-turn and see how it reacts. So I'll be able to see those things. But in order to do that, I really need to make sure the rest of this is wired up right. So see how this works. Twist that around so it's all right. Try this thing out. I hope everybody's excited as I am. This is a project that I've been working on for too long. Should have been done a long time ago, and I ended up taking that Jeep on, and as much as I enjoy it and like it, I'm not going to go through the firewall or anything yet. I'm going to sit it right over the edges. I'm about ready to power that up. Don't think I'm going to hook up the battery of the truck, but I do want to power up. So I am not going to hook up the battery, but I think I will power up the EPAS unit, just to make damn sure everything seems to work. Go ahead and trim that off. All right, we'll put that one there for now. Trim that edge. Shouldn't be a whole lot of amperage, so don't need a whole lot to worry about. I'm just going to stick these down, and I think in order to do that, I will go ahead and hook up the battery so that I know I do have the power where I need it. So, there is that. Hook this up right there. Yeah. Well, when I hit power, it came on. So that's a good noise. You hear it? Listen, listen. All right, so it clicks on. Controller's obviously working. Let's see here. And that's how much trouble I've got. Right now. All right, so until I get some kind of force behind that steering gear, I'm not gonna know. So I've got to hook up my steering gear. I'm gonna do that. At least I know this thing's powering up. It seems to be working. Right now, at minimum right now, I've at least got enough steering hooked up to know that I don't want to have to do this. So let's take a quick once over. Again, how it steers without. Oh, wow. Oh man, look at that. With, without. God damn. With, and that's just electric. Guys, that's awesome. So that gets me really close to driving this truck. Get that finished up, buttoned up, run my wiring for this thing. That's what you can expect with the EPAS. You saw, again, this is awesome. All right. Again, I'm gonna turn this way, and it works, but that's manual steering. Click my button, turn it on, and it's hard right there at the very beginning, and all of a sudden it's like the steering, once you turn it a little bit, the torque sensor takes off with it. Oh shit. Uh-oh. Yeah. Wow. I mean, no hydraulics, no extra garbage other than the steering column, and It sucks that I've got that big motor there. I've got to cover and do that with, but that sure beats steering pump, lines, bigger gearbox, all kinds of crap. This is awesome. This, guys, if you found the things that you saw in this video and any information that I spread here was helpful to you, and I hope it was, because this one I think is a big deal, please hit that notification button,